Have you ever greeted someone only to feel tired after all? No heavy lifting, no long walk, no illness. Just a strange heaviness that crawls into your bone, drains your strength, and leaves you wondering what just happened. Well, there's a story that the old ones in a small village near the edge of a forgotten forest still whisper after nightfall. A story of a man named Alade, the lumberjack who never got tired, because he stole the strength of anyone who dared to greet him, not by force, not by violence, but with something far older, far more powerful, which is respect, tradition, and greeting. Alade was a quiet man, the kind who kept to himself. He lived alone in a wooden hut just outside the village, surrounded by thick forest and silence. Every morning, before the first cock crow, he would walk into the forest with an axe over his shoulder and a cutlass by his side. He didn't need help, he didn't need rest, he didn't complain, he simply walked like a machine built from flesh and bone. People admired him at first. They called him hardworking, disciplined, strong. But soon, they noticed something. Every time someone passed him in the forest and greeted him, just a simple good morning Alade or well done Baba Alade, something unusual would happen. The person who greeted him would begin to feel tired. Their leg would go heavy, their breath shorten, their bone will ache. Some would need to sit, others would faint. A few had been carried home, but Alade, he would only nod and keep swinging his axe, faster, harder, almost energized by the exchange. At first, they thought it was just a coincidence, but then it happened to Kunle, a 14-year-old boy who greeted Alade out of respect while passing with his mother. Good afternoon, Baba Alade. And in seconds, the boy collapsed. His mother screamed, thinking he had a seizure. The village gathered. The herbalist checked him. Nothing was wrong. By the next morning, Kunle was perfectly fine again, but scared to speak of what he felt. After that, nobody laughed anymore. The village grew afraid. People began to avoid Baba Alade's path. Some would walk an extra mile just to stay far away from him. Even the hunters and traders refused to cross his section of the forest. Eventually, the whisper reached the ear of the village leader. They gathered in the barless huts and lit a small fire in the center. The oldest among them, Pa Ojo, tapped his staff and said, "There is something not right about this man. This is not natural. This is not just strength. It is something spiritual." They decided to confront Alade, not with fear, but with wisdom. Early the next morning, Pa Ojo, with his faded wrapper tied firm around his waist, walking staff in his hand, ventured into the forest alone. He found Alade as expected, deep in his work, axe swinging, wood cracking, sweat shining on his back like oil. But Papa Ojo did not greet him. No. He stood at a distance and spoke. "Alade, once upon a time, there was a man who stole people's shadow. With every shadow he collected, he grew stronger. But one day, he took the wrong shadow, and that was the end of him." Alade paused mid-swing. Slowly, he turned. His eyes were calm, but there was something behind them. A flicker, like a flame dancing in a dark room. He said quietly, "I don't steal, Baba. I only take what is offered." "Offered?" Papa Ojo asked, his voice steady. "Yes," Alade replied. "When someone greets a man at work, they give a small portion of their energy. It is our culture, our way of showing respect. Most people give it away and move on. But I learned how to keep it." There was a long silence. Then Alade sat down on a tree stump and said, "You want the truth, Baba? I'll tell you." And for the first time, Alade shared his secrets. He wasn't born with the power, he inherited it. He said his father was once a great woodcutter, strong, honest, but life was hard. His mother died early, the roof leaked. They were the poorest family in the village. One day, his father took him deep into the forest, further than they had ever gone, beneath the deep roots of a giant tree, covered in symbol that Alade had never seen. His father said it has been in their bloodline for generations, a gift, a curse, a choice. The spirit of the forest had given it to Alade's grandfather after years of suffering. If you greet a man with respect while he walks, his father said, you will give a part of yourself to him. That's our tradition. That's how greeting works. But if you know the rhythm, the pattern, the breath, you can absorb it, keep it, use it. Alade didn't believe him at first until he saw his father working without rest, until he saw people collapse around him after simple greeting. But the gift became a curse. The villagers turned against Alade's father. They called him a witch, a demon, a thief of souls. One night, they gathered. They dragged him in front of his hut. They beat him. They burned his house. He died without a funeral. But before he died, he gave Alade the pots and whispered, "Survive." As Alade told the story, Pa Ojo said nothing. The forest was silent. Then the old man looked at him and said, "Power without balance will turn every good man into a curse." But Alade only smiled and said, "I never asked them to greet me. They chose to. I only survived." And with that, he rose and returned to his work. Pa Ojo walked away slowly, not out of fear, but with a heart heavy with the truth. From that day forward, no one dared to speak to Alade while he was working. Even in the wind, it seems avoided whispered near him. And still, to this day, they said he lives in the forest. Grey now, but not weak. He still swings his axe, he still walks the same path, he still feeds off the greeting of the careless and the curious. So, if you ever find yourself walking through a lonely path in the woods, and you see a man chopping wood with hands that never shake, eyes that never blink, muzzle that never rests, don't greet him, no matter how strong the urge, because the moment your lip parts and say, "Well done, sir," you may feel something leave your body. Something small, almost invisible, but you will know. Your knees will shake, your arms will go numb. And that man will smile and keep walking. His name is Alade, and he doesn't get tired, because you do. If this story makes your spine tingles, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves folk tales, mystery, and unexplainable. This is Moonlight Story, where story breathes and legend never die. Until next time, don't greet strangers in the forest.